So with the Las Vegas Raiders now set to, hopefully, I don't know, I really don't know what I want them to do these last two games of the regular season in 2024. I just want it to be something that we cheer about. Maybe, like, I don't really necessarily care if they win or lose. Like we said, we just want some good news, good vibes. Just kidding. I hate the kid. I hate the new generation that says that. I'm an old timer. But overall, the Raiders are getting ready for a draft that could really shape the rest of their franchise. And if that's with Tom Telesco as well as Antonio Pierce, great. If not, again, we'll wait and see how things happen. However, with the Raiders' win over the Jaguars last week, that does complicate things just in terms of getting their future franchise quarterback, or their franchise quarterback of the future. Whatever you want. So today we're going to run through our latest mock draft scenario where we look at what that looks like for if the Raiders, let's say they necessarily either win on Sunday against the Saints or they don't. Doesn't necessarily matter. I do think at the end of the day, though, that we just have to look at all these different scenarios. If they win, they're obviously going to go down the draft board. I would say, at least to that 10 to 12 mark, at which point they're probably going to at least have to give up one, maybe two future ones, that is, to get back into the top two picks. But overall, like we said, the quarterback situation is going to be the big question this offseason for the Raiders. So let's jump right into it here and just kind of go over what we think could happen and what that would look like. So in the PFF mock draft simulator here, we're going to go ahead and enter the draft. 7-round mock draft, as you guys are kind of, hopefully if you're familiar with the channel, you guys are aware of kind of how we do this thing. So anyway, 7-round mock draft, Raiders selected, public versus PFF. We tend to go a little bit more towards PFF because they know what they're talking about. Also care for position of value and drafting for needs are both relatively high with a little bit of randomness. So right off the bat, if I'm being honest and if I'm the Raiders, I know that the Giants, they're obviously not going to give up the number one pick unless you basically give them 10 first-round picks. However, the Patriots, on the other hand, might have something interesting here. So I think for the Raiders to give up 6 or to get 2, they're obviously going to have to give up 6, a future 1 for sure. I mean, let's hopefully lowball them. I don't necessarily think this is accurate, but we'll try it. Wow, they took a 1. That's it? No. Honestly, I think if this is going to be more realistic, I think that we're at least going to have to give up a 1, maybe even an additional 2 to be able to get up back into the top 2 there. So we'll say a future 1, a 2, maybe even a future 3, because I don't necessarily think they want to give up that for this year. Because, I mean, remember what the Panthers did a couple of years ago when they traded up for Bryce Young. I mean, it was a future 1, a 3, and a 4, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. So it was quite a bit. So we're going to go ahead and start the draft. Actually, we wanted to go the extra mile here and show you that how absolutely bonkers the fact that PFF took that is, because back in 2023, the Panthers traded up to the number 1 overall pick with the Bears in exchange for Carolina's number 9 overall pick that year. And then also they traded away their second-round pick in 2023, a first-round pick in 2024, and then also a second-round pick into that will be now's draft. So that's great. And they also traded wide receiver DJ Moore. Fan-freaking-tastic. So if we're being honest, this probably will be tougher for the Raiders to get back into the top 2. But again, that is the number 1 overall pick. This is going to be in the top 2, so maybe you'll get a little bit less, but you're going to have to definitely do some maneuvering. So take this with a grain of salt. But anyway, we're going to go ahead and start the draft here. Shedeur Sanders, obviously, if Cam Ward is there, I think you take him. And I think that you are pretty happy about that. Yes, you did have to move up heaven and earth, but if you're confident that he's your guy, he's your guy. You can't necessarily complain about that one. So Cam Ward, we're going to go right at the top here and really see how this thing falls. So now we're back in the second round. A lot of people really, really hated on our first draft. I think it was because, I think there was a plethora of reasons. We were just trying things out and seeing how things weren't going to fall, but it is what it is. So right off the bat here, Jahdae Barron is there. Ooh, I like Barron. He's a stud too. Honestly, he's a ball hawk. I do want a big corner though, and Barron but you can't let sides. I mean, if he's just a stud, you gotta get him. And so I think if he falls to you here at 38, I think you count your lucky stars, and I think you go get Barron, and you're back into the third round where there's some pretty good. Definitely some pretty good running backs in this one. So so you got Doan Walker. Ooh, this man is a mammoth on the inside. Now, I think him paired with Christian Wilkins would be an absolute steal. I like it. We're going to come back. Then who's there at running back? So, Tootin there out of Virginia Tech. Who is best player available? Sebastian Castro is a stud. I like me some Sebastian Castro. Oh boy. Kevin Winston Jr. Ugh, I don't know about that one. I do not know about that one. But anyway, I would say that if you're going to take a stab at this, Tootin is there. Eli Stowers out of Vandy. Tez Johnson, I actually have kind of a draft crush on Tez Johnson. Good Lord, I can't speak today. Tez Johnson's kind of low-key a stud. But I still want that like big number one wide receiver. Trey Harris, ooh, I like me some Trey Harris too. Yeah, he's a big dude. He's a big dude. Honestly, outside the numbers help for wide receiver, or we go BPA. Because we got Don Walker already. That helps out the defense immensely. Bass is there. Mello Dotson. Ooh, Mello Dotson is there at corner. I'm sorry. I know that a lot of people might be hating on Mello Dotson. I'm going to double down on corner because it clearly is arguably one of your worst positions. I know that running back is definitely going to be up there, and then it works itself out there because there's Hunter. I love me some Jarquez Hunter. So you double down on corner, which I think a lot of people might hate on. I do not care because you got arguably the two best guys there in this draft. Yes, I said what I said. Now, Quinn Ewers is just sitting there in the 5th round. I know you got Cam Ward, but Tom Brady, maybe you've heard of him. He was the victim of the Patriots selecting a lot of quarterbacks in his time, despite the fact that he was clearly the franchise guy. Quinn Ewers in the 5th round, I know that it might be counterintuitive to have him there. I'm going to do it. We selected 2 quarterbacks. That's getting a little crazy. All right. I know there's probably other needs. I know I'm going to get some hate for that one. I do not care. Let's go to Curtis Rourke. No, I'm just kidding. Now, as far as in the 6th round, Miles Frazier there. So, I do want me a linebacker. But, I mean, if they're all gone, I'm also kind of banking on that maybe, hopefully, the Raiders go out and get themselves the linebacker that they want and need. I'm going to go Miles Frazier here. People hate me for saying that the Raiders need guard help. I'm sorry. Dylan Parham has been atrocious this year, just being honest. Hunter Wohler, Jackson Dart. Ooh, Jonathan Walker's there. Walker, to me, is definitely a little bit underrated. I know that he's probably going to get some flack just a little bit, but I like me some Walker. Honestly, Walker might be able to be kind of a stud for you. I'm going to go Walker there, not even think about it twice. And then we are back. Shiloh Sanders. Jacksonville State. Greg Penn. Aaron Smith. Honestly, Elijah Alston, I really like his length and his first step quickness, He would be interesting, let's put it that way. But I'm going to go Shiloh Sanders. I think as just from a special teams perspective, I think he would be fantastic, and I think that you would be pretty happy with that. Brent, we got Kuthi there out of Utah a little bit, little bit earlier there. Ooh, Joe Evans, dude, Joe Evans is just a stud. Let's see, that's right. I think he was out. That doesn't matter. C.J. Taylor, Daquan Felton. Now, again, it really depends on what the Raiders do in kind of the free agency part of things. But Felton is just a mammoth on the outside. I'm going to take him on the outside because I would really, really, really like a big wide receiver there for the Raiders. So you'll see here, going to see how things ended up. So obviously they're not a huge fan of the Cam Ward pick. Now, again, this is not accurate, okay? I really truthfully believe that they're probably going to go, if they're going to go quarterback, they're going to have to, like we showed you, they're at least going to have to give up at least a really good player, hopefully not Brock Bowers, but they're going to have to go up and get their guy. They're going to have to trade away their number 6 overall pick, their first overall pick in 2026, probably even a 2 this year, or 2 next year, as well as a 2 the year after that, and a good player. So that's going to be a little rough. But if he's your guy, go up and get him. But anyway, so, and then we got Barron here out of Texas. That's a steal. Absolute steal. I don't care what anybody says. So Don Walker, him and Christian Wilkins on the inside there, that's not fair if you ask me. Then Mello Dotson, people hate on me for being so high on Mello Dotson. I do not care. He's an absolute condor on the outside, and I think he's going to prove that he can run with anybody. And I think that that's exactly him and Barron are going to be the cornerstones of corners, pun intended, for the Raiders for a long time. And then finally, yes, Jarquez Hunter here, falling to you in the 4th round. I think not only is he going to be your bell cow running back, he's going to be a lot of fun. He's going to help you out. Quinn Ewers in the 5th round. I know a lot of people are going to hate on exactly what we did, but I don't care. Again, Tom Brady, he's going to have a bigger say in a lot of these decisions than a lot of people think, and I think that at the very worst, Quinn Ewers is going to be a good backup, and maybe, who knows, if he shows some stuff in the preseason, but Cam Ward is balling out, maybe you at least get a little bit of something for him on the quarterback market, because there's going to be a lot of quarterback-needy teams in this one. Miles Frazier, going to give you a little bit of some guard help. I like that one. Jalen Walker at Indiana. I'm really, really high on Jalen Walker. I really feel like he is going to, at some point, show that he's a starter in this league and that he is here to stay. Shiloh Sanders, the safety coming up out of Colorado, I think he's going to do some stuff for you, at least on special teams. And then Daquan Felton here, at least a stud on the outside. I know a lot of people are low on this draft. I'm actually really happy about this one because we started from the bottom, now we're here. Those of you that like Drake songs. But the reality of the situation is that your quarterback room is depleted. This team needs something to cheer about, and we need to get this defense right once and for all. And so for all those reasons, I'm pretty happy with how this mock draft ended up, and I think it could be a good one for the Raiders if they play their cards right. But overall, let us know what you guys think. The Raiders mock draft, where we start from the bottom, now we're there. We kind of just go from there. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe down below, and we'll see you on the next video.